So we've really been in existence since December 2023 when we raised our first money. What we've done since then is organize ourselves, create a proper functioning and responsible board, create and advance our grant making capacity. And what we're seeing now is the next step of our development, which is to start a program of rooftop developments. And we've developed a series of 6 projects totaling 490 kilowatts, and that's what we're looking to install over the next 3 to 4 months. And this is part of a much larger ongoing program, which we anticipate moving to next year when we've got a pipeline of nearly 1.5 megawatts of rooftop buildings, with a view to making ourselves long-term viable and a successful part of the community energy movement in Kent. So what did we choose, though, when we set out to do this, is we set out specifically to look at organizations that have a social context. So we have a mental health charity, which does very valuable work in that field in Maidstone. We have an old age hub that looks after folks in the latter stage of their lives, including dementia patients and the large Meal on Wheels thing. So good energy demand, great need for money, great need for support. In Tenterden, a local government office, which also includes an Age UK drop-in centre and a Kent Library in Hythe, and a set of assets on a heritage railway, the Romney Hythe and Dymchurch Railway. We're working to close that deal with them, which is a nice one because it's a very substantial tourism asset, but it's also a community benefit society, and it also uses coal. So there's a lovely story if we can close a deal and that we have negotiated with them on both sides of the deal. Climate change, helping to make a carbon using asset cleaner and better. A town hall, a community hall, and also a large college brings up the things. So we've aimed at community impact, the needs of the client, and also a wide geographical dispersion to make sure that we're putting our impact everywhere across the county. So those were the sort of defining factors which helped our choices. Well, we've existed for a while, so we've already given out over £40,000. The early phase of we have an independent grant committee, which we maintain separate from the board with independent board members to ensure there's a sort of separation between the running of the company and how we distribute the money. And we screen for social impact to make sure that our money will be used well. And then we have a reporting process as well to make sure that there's reporting afterwards that our money has gone to where it was meant to go and that we have adequate and responsible reporting. The early years of our grants coincided with COVID, and there was a very heavy emphasis on energy poverty and social need. And taking one step back, the 4 things we really look for are funding organizations that fight climate change, that fight energy poverty, that promote energy efficiency, and that promote biodiversity and the protection of nature. So we really focus on those. We can also give to some organizations involved in healthy living and healthy transport. The real core of our activities in those 4 areas. So during COVID, most of the grant money that we gave was to energy poverty. The recent round of this year has gone heavily to climate resilience funding and also to biodiversity protection. We have more grant requests than we can fund. This little portfolio now that we're looking to fund should move us from about 15,000 a year to nearly £30,000 a year, and we could spend every penny of that. Our plan outlined in our business plan moves us to £80,000 a year by 2028. So we aim to be a really key part of the grant making community within Kent in these areas. And as we all know, in these sort of straitened financial times, there is immense demand for issues of this kind, and funding sources are getting fewer and fewer. So we view this as a fundamental part of our bond and commitment to Kent, is that we want to be a real part of that going forward. What we acquired in December 2023 was an operating 5 megawatts solar farm located at Iwade near Sittingbourne in Kent, on the north coast of Kent. It's a site that we share with Orchard Community Energy, who own the other half. The two of us represent the only two community energy companies with assets in Kent. The 5 megawatt asset was installed in late 2016 by a Spanish developer. It's got feed-in tariff status. It has an assured set of revenues through 2036 of high value because of the feed-in tariff nature. We sell the energy privately through PPAs on top of the feed-in tariff benefits. So part of our job is managing that asset and managing the flows and benefits and borrowing that relates to that. But the real growth of the company is going to be in the short term through rooftop developments. Well, let's just sort of put a handle around the overall sort of nature of the organization. We currently have 77 investors and £176,000 in equity. We hope to move and attract nearly 200 more, and £400,000 worth of equity, bringing our equity base up to nearly 600,000. We want to improve our capital base. We want to have a prudent and lower debt level structure. So there's an element of capital restructuring in this so that we'll make ourselves a prudent long run body. We're looking for lower leverage. And then what we want to tell our investors is we want to work with them not just now, but then again and again and again.
Yeah.
We think that we'll be coming back to the market in a while with a bond raise to prepare for next year. And we anticipate coming back with a series of pipeline investments. So we look to build relationships with our investor group. They are a very important part of our community. And we look to engage them also as volunteers, those who live in Kent, in our environmental programs, our educational programs, and our outreach programs as we go out to meet climate change organizations across the county.